processed food is much more powerful than we ever realized. For decades, we had the science to show that drugs of abuse can hijack the neural circuits to get us to come back for more and more. We now have the science that show that you can make food hyper-palatable too, and that gets us to come back for more and more.
Researchers at Princeton University have been studying how rats change their eating behavior if they're allowed to drink sugar water.
In a recent study, 43 cocaine-addicted laboratory rats were given the choice of cocaine or sugar water over a 15-day period. 40 out of the 43 chose the sugar. In another study, rats on a sugar water diet exhibited telltale signs of addiction, binging, craving, and withdrawal when the sugar was taken away.
Food addiction is a real thing. It's not a metaphor, it's a biological fact. The studies show that your brain lights up with sugar just like it does with cocaine or heroin. In fact, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So if you start your baby early on addictive, highly sugary foods, they're going to become addicted.
Take a look at formula. Certain formulas, especially lactose-free formulas, they substitute with sucrose. The food industry knows that the earlier they introduce these foods to people, to children, to infants, the more likely they will have branded them for the future.
And every generation of kids born after 1980 has grown up surrounded by these highly addictive foods.
When I see food, I get hungry. I don't know what it is. When I see it, I get hungry. My stomach's telling me I'm not really hungry. My mind's telling me, eat.
If you eat foods that are addictive, you can't just have one line of Coke. You can't just have, 2 cigarettes. You're going to become an addict.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
We have to understand that the willpower idea, that personal responsibility doesn't work in the face of addiction.
A lot of times people wonder why it's so hard to lose weight, but a big reason might be because you actually have those foods, the chips and the brownies and the cookies and cakes and ice cream in your house. It's just like being an alcoholic. Do you think an alcoholic could withstand from drinking that alcohol if he had a bottle of gin sitting next to him? It'd be tough to do. When you're close to it, you want it, and it's the same way with food.
We like to think we make rational decisions, but the fact is our brains are getting constantly hijacked. You can't walk in most cities, most places, more than 100 feet without having your brain being activated in some way.
Gas stations used to sell gas. Now they're all convenience stores. And there's junk food at the checkout everywhere. At toy stores, at drug stores. Go to buy stationery supplies, linens, electronics. Every store these days has junk food right at the eye level of your kids.
And then you add the emotional gloss, you add other things. You add favorite cartoon characters, right? You make it into entertainment. You add toys, and then you add the carnival-like features. You add all these other layers of stimuli. And in the end, you end up with one of the great public health epidemics of our time.